All right, so I've been working on this drum loop thing. So initially this sound here, right? It's supposed to sound like this. And even before it, it was this. Yeah. What it is, this tutorial, I guess, is going to include most of it is non-stock stuff. I'm sure you can go about it with stock stuff, but yeah, thinking these and making these consistently has proven itself to be hard, as it's I don't know, it requires effort, and it's probably better for me to just, when I get by something, to just record it. So what it is, I'll go through the chain. Initially, as you can see, I have transient shapers here. I really, really love this one, and I've been using it for years now. Right? So I'm just using it to make it, for it to detect transients and to make it more percussive. Basically this one as well. This transient shaper thing is a really good drive, as it makes it into a really nice, I guess, square wave, but it sounds very pleasant. For this instance, I'm using 3 of them, so without even the other one, right? You can probably hear it in my own stuff, because it has really a distinct, like, timbral quality to it. I'm getting back some of the gain. Then I'm using a different transient shaper, the kilohertz one. It acts differently and it has different, I guess, parameters, but it gives it a different quality. Afterwards, this doesn't do anything, but I'll turn it on. Yeah, it's not doing anything. So afterwards, I'm using and I'm automating this frequency echo Valhalla thing, and what it's doing is it's kind of offsetting the sample, and why I'm using it is to offset the sample for it to kind of phase in itself, because so if I were to, it'd probably be more obvious if I were to put it to stereo, right? It's as if you have 2 different channels, like 2 different sounds going in between with the original one. And if you were to sum it to mono, it cancels itself out and it gives it this kind of phased out, like filtered quality to it. It gives it a tone, as well as, like, you can see me automating the shift parameter, as it's kind of right. Shift. Why is it? Frequency and shift. Yeah, I have no idea. All right. Then I'm using the good old tube. So this is acting almost as again, as the transient shaper thing, but as well as a gate, and it's really cool for playing around with envelopes, in the sense of, like, if you run something through it, it kind of detects it, and you have this envelope thing here. And if I were to turn it off, it kind of, right, this bias function is its main function, as it kind of detects and it squashes everything that goes through it, and you can see actually the threshold and whatnot. But here it sounded good with this ratio here, and this envelope kind of detecting. You can mess around with the detection settings here. This plugin I found out recently, and it sounds really sexy. So it just gives it this distorted quality. Okay, here, yeah, I didn't want the low end. And this nonlinear filter sounds absolutely amazing. Okay, and so at the end of this part, before putting everything into the convolution thing, this acts as almost as a trigger, a nice trigger that I blended in afterwards. But if you were to play it, right? So you get, so you have the timpani rolls, or I use the timpani convolution impulse response here. So I use the Melda convolver thing, although you can use whatever, and mess around with the settings, right? So the stretch here, it changes the pitch, right? Fuck, so it was whatever, right? You give it a ring. Oh, both are. Let me just duplicate it, disable this one, right? Right. Though it sounds a bit thin, like if you were to, you know, wanted to render it out or maybe get out samples out of it, so I would probably have to mess around with the filter. But in the context of this song, in the context of this song, no. All right, I messed it up. Yeah, I deleted the filter. Convolution, nonlinear. Delete this. Right. Here it sounded cool, maybe. So I could put it to fully wet, but adding in the you know, the dry signal sounded cool. And I added in a disperser to kind of glue it all together, and I automated is like the frequency, the pitch part, so it gives it. And so in the context of the song, right, a useful little thing that you could push even more with different, especially with different convolution, you know. So if I were to, right, it just acts as a trigger, and yeah. All right, that's it for this morning.